Hello, Amy Elizabeth here, somatic and intuitive healer. And today is September 21st. The aspect that pinged for me is that today the asteroids Medusa and Magdalene will be conjunct in Sagittarius. Well, they are trine Ceres over in Leo, and this is happening at the 26th degree of those signs. So you'll want to, if you're familiar with your chart, have a look at the 26th degree to see, and you can really do that with any sign because it's going to light up that degree. With this, what's feeling like for me, transformational love. And this is coming on the heels, and while Venus and Uranus are still in the orb of their trine from Monday, which had this feeling of the embodiment of joy. And how do we work toward embodying joy, and how revolutionary it can be to find joy in our day-to-day. And if we're not finding joy in our day-to-day, to really look at what needs to change. Here's that Uranus bit, and that there's a lot of support around it. Feeling into today with these three goddesses, Ceres, also known as Demeter, is the mother goddess, and there's a lot of big mama energy in this trine today with these three goddesses, because Magdalene is kind of this most recent point, she and Venus, Aphrodite, of the womb priestesses, and Magdalene was a part of a long line stretching way back to looking at the Neolithic and the Paleolithic of the womb religion, and what it is to be in that place of the womb, the place that holds both life and death. The place that we go to for sacred union. For those of you that have worked with me before, you are aware that I'm a shamanic practitioner. And when we shamanic journey, what we're looking to do is move into the kiva, or move into either the lower world or the upper world, because this is the middle world. So we're moving into a womb space, because a shamanic journey is a process of discovering something that needs to die and then being reborn. And so Magdalene is the holder of this energy. In her shadow, she is divisive. She is division, and she's also in her shadow. She holds shame, as Medusa does. Medusa, as an archetype, carries tremendous shame, and specifically shame around our sexuality. Too often, and especially living in a Christian society, we have been asked or told or taught that sexuality is shameful, rather than that sexuality is our creativity. Sexuality is our power, because we've reduced sexuality to genitals, smushing on genitals, rather than a source of our power. And the primary way we access spirit is through the body, is through matter. We, rather than ascending and moving out, we want to move deeper into the body and to find our womb space. And whether you're living in a body with a uterus or a body without a uterus, everyone has a womb space. It is also known as the Hara, Hara. That's something that you want to research or look up. So I feel like we're moving from the finding and the embodiment of joy. And keeping in mind, I think I said in a couple videos ago that embodiment, actual embodiment, is past the point of integration. It's a big buzzword right now. And it is about that moment where we realize we don't have to slow ourselves down. We don't have to stop, because our physical body is not having an adverse nervous system reaction to something. We are moving from a place of healing, and we're being able to do it without having to slow ourselves down, without having to say, oh, here comes the trigger. Because of course that is a part of healing, the being able to see the trigger, whether it's coming at us, whether it's on top of us, or whether it's past us. Those are the steps towards embodiment. And embodiment is the moment where we're living our lives without conscious thought. It's a new way of being because we have healed that part of us. And healing is a lifelong journey. We signed up for Earth School to be here, to do this journey, to experience the hard with the easy, to find the joy in our labors. And so between Venus, trine Uranus, and still being in that energy, and then this energy today that brings in Medusa, who is joy and connection to our sexual selves, our sexuality, our creative centers. And remember, part of the Medusa myth is she was dramatically victimized. And in that victimization, she had taken away from her. Her punishment was the inability to ever look in someone's eyes again without turning them to stone. And connection is so important, whether we're connecting here, whether we get to connect in person. Connecting is so very important. And as the world has changed so dramatically in the past 2 years, I love that Magdalene and Medusa are who are coming together in Sagittarius, the sign of the philosopher, the sign of the teacher. It is also in its shadow, the sign of the dilettante. There's a shallowness to it because it wants to look and play with all the things, and it wants to think that it's right and that it knows, but it doesn't have any depth because it hasn't done what it needs to have the depth, because it's too interested in knowing a broad variety of things. And I have been talking since 2020 around my theory that archetypally coronavirus is Magdalene, the great unifier, the great light that shines on our division. So having Medusa, who was denied human contact, coming together with the archetype that, for me, that now is coronavirus. The energetic work I have done with coronavirus has really morphed her into Magdalene for me. Having the two of them come together in Sagittarius, maybe asking for us to see a bigger, wider picture, to tap into that Sagittarius ability to go really big. Because that is the thing about Sagittarius, is it recognizes the endless possibilities and how far it can go. There's an optimism. Remember, Sagittarius, or if you don't know, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, who makes things bigger. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our system, and he expands things. So with Sagittarius and its light comes an expansion and an ability to see a bigger picture. And maybe that's what we're being asked to do, because they're trine Ceres, who is the mother goddess. She is Demeter, the goddess of harvest. Cereal comes from her name, Ceres. And she mourned the loss of her child to the point where she shut down the fruitfulness of the earth, and she gave us time to rest and go inside, which I'm going to dip into the equinox a little bit here. The fall equinox is the point at which Persephone, Ceres's child, returns to her husband in her position in the underworld. So you can also look at this time where we shift to fall in the northern hemisphere, and we get to watch and witness and be in how beautiful it is to let things go as the leaves change and all of the gardens fade, and we shift into a different season that is really asking us to pay closer attention to the light and the dark and what our bodies want when it's dark. So there's just some invitations there, and I will touch on that again more with my equinox video. So leave your questions, your comments, dedications, requests, things you want to hear about down below in the comments. I love hearing from you and interacting with you, and sending you huge, fierce love.